So how does a private company, basically a startup, come out of nowhere and completely disrupt an industry that's been run by governments for, what, 50, 60 years? Well, that's the story of SpaceX. They didn't just join the space race, they totally rewrote the rulebook. Let's get into it. You have to understand, from the very beginning, back in 2002, this wasn't just some vague mission statement. This single, absolutely audacious goal from Elon Musk was everything. It wasn't just a plaque on a wall, it was the fundamental engineering problem that every single person in the company was trying to solve, every single day. So where do you even begin? Well, the story starts back in 2002 with an idea that sounded honestly like something out of a sci-fi novel, putting a tiny greenhouse on Mars. Yeah, to get that little greenhouse to Mars, Musk actually flew to Moscow. He was trying to buy a couple of old refurbished Russian rockets, but the prices they quoted him were just insane, and frankly, they weren't taking this internet guy seriously at all. So, on the flight home, he has this massive realization. Forget buying them, he could just start his own company and build the rockets himself for way, way cheaper. Okay, so this is the secret sauce. This is how they attacked the cost problem. First, instead of using a million different suppliers like everyone else in aerospace, they decided to build almost everything themselves. That's vertical integration. Second, where it made sense, they'd use proven, reliable parts you could just buy off the shelf. And third, and this is key, they treated building hardware like building software, fast, iterative, and modular. In an industry famous for taking a decade to do anything, this was, well, it was completely nuts. But you know, having a revolutionary plan doesn't mean it's gonna work. The early days for SpaceX were, let's just say they were tough. The whole company's future was literally hanging by a thread on this tiny island out in the Pacific. Their first rocket was called the Falcon 1. They built it for around $90 million, which is like a rounding error for a typical government rocket program. But that learning curve was just brutal. Musk put all his own money on the line, and the stress was so immense, he said later that he was waking from nightmares, screaming and in physical pain. And this timeline just shows you how close they came to total collapse. 2006, the first launch fails. 2007, the second one fails. August of 2008, the third one fails spectacularly. By this point, the company is basically broke. Musk has just enough money left from his personal fortune for one more try. And then, a month later, September 2008, the fourth Falcon 1 finally makes it to orbit. Talk about a make-or-break moment. That one successful launch changed the entire game, because now they had proven they could do it, and NASA was watching. Just a couple months later, in December, NASA awarded SpaceX this, a $1.6 billion contract to start flying cargo to the International Space Station. The company was saved. The dream was alive. Okay, so now they're not about to go bankrupt. They can breathe. And that meant they could finally focus on the one idea that would go on to change everything: making rockets reusable. Think about it. For 60 years, every rocket that ever flew was thrown away. Imagine flying a 747 from New York to LA and then just scrapping the whole plane. It's completely insane, right? But that's just how rocketry worked. SpaceX's vision was to land the biggest, most expensive part of the rocket, the first stage, and just fly it again and again. And they didn't just talk about it, they went out and did it, and the pace was just stunning. December 2015, they stick the first landing on solid ground. Just a few months later, they land one on a robotic drone ship floating in the middle of the ocean. And by March of 2017, they launched a paying customer satellite on a flight-proven, basically a used rocket. The game had officially changed. And here's what that looks like in dollars and cents. Before SpaceX, a single launch from the big legacy player, ULA, could run you about $400 million bucks. SpaceX comes along with the Falcon 9 and says, how about 60 million? This wasn't just competition. This was a complete and total demolition of the existing business model for space. So once you've made getting to space cheap and reliable, what do you do next? Well, you start doing things that, until now, only superpowers could even dream of. This was such a huge moment. For the first time ever, a private company launched astronauts for NASA. This mission, Crew Dragon, meant America no longer had to rely on buying seats on Russian rockets to get to the space station. It was a massive vote of confidence, proving a commercial company could be trusted with the lives of astronauts. At the same time, SpaceX was using all those cheap launches to build its own incredible business. I'm talking about Starlink. As of today, they've launched over 6,000 of these satellites, creating a high-speed internet service that covers the entire globe. A project on this scale would have been financially impossible without reusable rockets. Just no way. And all of that brings us to today. It brings us to the project that ties the whole story together. From that very first failure on a remote island, all the way to the biggest of big picture goals.
So this is Starship. This is the beast. It's the biggest, most powerful rocket humanity has ever built. But it's more than that. It's designed to be a completely reusable transportation system. Every single lesson they learned, from landing Falcon 9 boosters, to building their own engines, to moving fast and breaking things, it all flows into this one vehicle. This is the rocket that's designed to finally make good on that original Mars promise.
So you look at the whole journey, right? From a company that was literally hours from bankruptcy to being the most dominant launch provider in the world. It was all about relentless focus. They proved reusability wasn't just some sci-fi dream, and in doing so, they changed our access to space forever. And now, with Starship sitting on the pad, they've completely reframed the conversation. The question is no longer if we'll become a multiplanetary species, it's when.